Hi, this is Ms. Lancaster. Here's a quick video regarding the agents of socialization. This is part of our chapter 4. I just wanted to kind of give you a description of each. Okay, so let's move here. All right, so exactly what is an agent of socialization? An agent of socialization is any group, any social group or institution, an individual that provides some sort of structured situation in which socialization is going to take place. So remembering that socialization is this lifelong process of learning how to fit in, how to be part of society. They are the people that we interact with that will transmit our culture to us. We discussed that in chapter 3 about how culture transmits, right? Is transmitted to us. Socialization is that transmission process. Our agents of socialization reinforce the norms of the groups of society, and they use sanctions, right? Remember, sanctions are those punishments or rewards that reinforce social norms. Okay, that again, we learned in chapter 3. Okay, so I have this individual here, this image here of agents of socialization. You are in the middle, and then these other groups outside of here are shaping us and impacting us. Each of these agents are major institutions within our society, right? Religion, family, friends, school, mass media, work would be part of the political and economic structure, okay? So, who are our most predominant agents? As your book discusses, family, school, our peers, and mass media are the 4 key primary or the key most predominant agents. Family is oftentimes seen as the most important agent of socialization. It is our primary agent of socialization, mainly because it's our first contact, right? Our first interactions are all take place within our family. They are going to have our strongest bonds. They are the individuals who have shaped us the most before we started to interact with other institutions, okay? So our family is an agent that shapes us from the very beginning of life all the way through the end, okay? Schools are our next agent that I want to talk about. This agent of socialization provides us an area in which we learn what society expects of us. We learn the basics, English, right? Our language, math, history, everything that we learn, and how to interact and work with groups. And this is where we also make our friends. And it's just preparing us to be able to go from our families, from the education system, then out into the workforce and be a productive member of society. Our peers, these are our friends, the people who are similar to us, the people that we interact with on a daily basis. Our peers are influential, right? They provide social influence to us. They provide socialization through us, through all of our interactions. They can shape how we will behave in various things. They're also the people we just have fun with, right? The people who are around us that we do things with. Okay, so those are our peers. They provide socialization through those interactions. And then, of course, the last of the major agents or predominant agents is mass media. Now, we don't particularly specifically, if we think about what an interaction is as a two-way process, we don't specifically interact with mass media. However, we absorb it, right? It's all around us. It's predominant in our lives, in influencing how we see the social world, right? It reinforces various stereotypes and ideas. It reinforces expectations that are placed on us in society. So media plays a huge part in shaping what we expect around us, whether we recognize that or not. Now, part of this reason is that all of these agents exist and that all of these agents provide us messages, is that these messages exist to kind of shape us, right? But 2 of these predominant agents provide us with formal messages, and 2 of them provide us with informal messages. So when we think about these formal messages and informal messages, it's important to kind of recognize what the difference is. Like a formal message means that these agents, it's really an expectation that they are preparing you to be part of society. So what exactly does that mean? Which organizations, which institutions, which agents are formal? Family and schools are both formal agents, okay? Their sole purpose as an institution is to provide socialization to the members, right? To do their part in preparing children to go out into the social world. One way to know that they're formal is that there are sanctions that are actual formal sanctions. If a parent is not taking care of their child properly, if they are abusive to their child, if they are found to be neglecting their child in some way, these children will typically be taken away, or there will be some sort of punishment. Same within schools, right? These organizations that, these institutions are created and sustained through these formal rules of making sure that everybody is learning what they're supposed to be learning and is prepared to move forward. Now, informal messages are kind of the messages where socialization takes place, but it's not its intention, right? Formal are intended messages, informal are unintended messages. So when we think about it, how our friends, our peers, and how television and movies and books can influence our ideas about things, it's not teaching us intentionally, right? It is kind of like a kind of something that just kind of happens along the way, right? Our friends will influence us and kind of can shape what we think about, but what we're really doing when we're with our friends is having fun. And while we're having fun, we are learning, right, from them. Okay, while we're watching a movie, we may see things that we didn't know before, and it's kind of teaching us or giving us some sort of expectation. That's what these agents do, the difference between a formal and an informal agent. Okay. Now, the last thing I do want to quickly touch on in relationship to these agents is recognizing using the macro level theories to really think about the agents of socialization, because agents of socialization, while we're doing micro level interactions, right, the macro level is impacting, right, at that level, right? At the institutional level, we can recognize that from a functionalist perspective, all of these agents are doing their part in shaping an individual, right? Because all aspects of society serve a purpose. They serve a function to maintain stability and harmony. So each of these agents are working together to reinforce the norms and culture of society through socialization, okay? Typically from this perspective, we see how the different agents support one another. Again, kids are not going to do as well in school if they don't have the support from their family. They're going to make friends through school. School is then going to teach them to be able to go out into the workforce, right? All of these things kind of work together. They're building upon one another. They support one another. And we can see that in many ways, the support of one institution for the next. However, conflict theory would come on the other side and say that our socialization that is coming from these various agents can actually be in conflict at times, right? And when we recognize that from a conflict perspective, they notice that inequality and conflict are in all of our social relationships. So the whole socialization process and reinforcing social norms through sanctions and through socialization can potentially be problematic, right? In itself, that they recognize that some of these agents, while most of the time they support one another, sometimes they're in conflict with one another because they're each just trying to get their own message across, right? And whichever one seems to have the strongest connection with you may be able to get you to take their message over another, right? So this theory, again, discusses about how those who have power can use socialization to manipulate us, right? To manipulate you into supporting the power structure and interests of the elite. If we think back to chapter 3, when we talked about culture and hegemony, right? Hegemony is really about how the dominant culture can instill its ideas into everyone, where we, even if it's oppressive to us, we still kind of participate in it. As I've discussed previously, like cell phones, many of us have cell phones and are attached to cell phones today. Well, all of us probably have cell phones, and we're very, very connected to our cell phones, but that wasn't always the case, right? It is something that was kind of brought down and instilled in us as something that's normal. That if we step back and recognize it, maybe it's not, okay? So from a conflict perspective, we're on the opposite side of what structural functionalism is talking about, how all of the institutions work together. Conflict is going to recognize that organizational goals are oftentimes in competition or in conflict with one another. So those socialization messages that you receive may actually be contradictory or competitive in nature. Okay, they compete, organizations will compete for our time and for our resources. And the last thing that conflict theory kind of recognizes is through socialization and the creation of ourself, we're being reinforced with all of these ideas from society. Most individuals in reality have little power to control or decide their own futures because of these expectations that are placed on them. Okay, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.